Christians shouldn't be politicians. I got this comment under my video, Atheists, Why Care About Religion? And I guess someone commented this. Why care about religion? Unfortunately, faith-based thinking is destroying my country and my world. Unfortunately, Christians control my government at every level, and the majority are doing terrible things and then justifying it with their religious beliefs. Okay, I can go through the rest of the comment in another video, but for now I want us to think about this topic. Should Christians be politicians or they shouldn't be? First thing I want you to think about is you probably hate the idea that people are imposing their personal beliefs onto people. You hate that they are using their job or role to then impose their personal beliefs. However, I would like to argue that pretty much everyone is doing that in every aspect of their life, including their work. Your personal beliefs on whether you think everyone should be punctual or whether you allow some leniency, whether you think someone should be punished, or do you think someone should be allowed some chances, or do you think we should be interacting with people, or do you think we should just get the job done? There are a lot of different ways that you can go about your work based on your own personal beliefs. And I think it's very clear when you go into leadership roles, when you got people under your charge or command, how do you go about it? Now, politicians are the ultimate example of leaders who have a lot of people under their charge, right? Pretty much the whole country is involved. And when I think about faith-based thinking, well, don't you agree that everyone has put their faith in something? Christians put their faith in Jesus, Buddhists place their faith on Buddha, even atheists who don't believe in God place their faith that there is no God. So everyone has faith in something at the end of the day. My question for you then is, if you want no one to impose their personal beliefs onto the country or their job, then who would you hire? Who would you hire? Because everyone pretty much has a religion affiliation. Even atheists sometimes disagree on certain hot button topics like abortion or LGBTQ+. So how do you go about this? Unfortunately, I can only think that perhaps then you put a robot that is objective, with no subjective opinions. However, that is also wrong because easily you can have the creator of the robot input them to go and fight or support certain sides for certain topics. So I don't think there's any way to go about it. Every human is imperfect. For Christianity, we say that everyone has sinned. So I think there is no way to really go about it having someone perfect for politics. So if you hate the idea that a Christian is trying to go against abortion or claim that there are two genders only, or that trying to go against LGBTQ+, I would like to just say that that's just them imposing their personal beliefs on others. Like how you impose your personal beliefs onto your job. Now, but how do you go against people who go and do terrible things? Like, we can all agree these are terrible things. What if decades ago, Christianity was used to promote or encourage slavery? How do you go against that? Well, again, my point still stands that everyone is imperfect, everyone sin, and unfortunately for politicians, their sin is much more significant because it affects everyone around them, because it affects everyone under them. However, if you're looking at Christians to better understand what Christianity is about, I think you are dead wrong. It's like me looking at how 9/11 was caused by some extremists in Islam, then I conclude that Islam is not the true religion. I don't think we should go about it that way. That is pretty judgmental. If I want to learn about Islam to then show why it is true or not, then I will have to go to the Quran, learn about the Prophet Muhammad or their God, Allah. And then for you, if you wish to learn more about what Christianity is about, you shouldn't go to imperfect examples. Humans are imperfect examples. Instead, you should go to the perfect example. And who is this perfect example? It would be Jesus. Go read the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, about what Jesus has done in his life on earth. In his life, has he gone about being very judgmental and rude against people, or is he very loving to everyone he comes across? Is his ethical teachings in Matthew chapter 5 to 7 amazing things to follow, or are they just nonsense? Is what Jesus say something that we should strive for, like loving your enemies instead of hating them? Did Jesus exemplify his love and sacrifice by dying on the cross so that we can be saved? Did he then show his power to conquer death by resurrecting after 3 days? After all these questions, you can then realize what Christianity is truly about. Unfortunately, us sinful people would never truly show what Christianity is about. So all the more you should just go to read about Jesus in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John to truly understand what he's about. That's about all I have to say for this topic. To summarize what I said, basically, every politician would place their own personal beliefs onto what they do, just like how any of us would do. And all of us have faith in something, even if you have faith in no God existing. So it's like me arguing that I hate how an atheist go do terrible things and then use his faith and personal beliefs to go impose it on us. I think even though we live in a secular world and that religion shouldn't be so involved, even though I acknowledge that we live in a secular nation, there are bound to be times where religion gets into the mix, because religion is just so fundamental to someone's personal beliefs. Then the second thing about Christians actually doing bad things, unfortunately that is the case, but I hope you don't get stumbled by these people. Instead, go look at the perfect example, which is Jesus. All these imperfect things that people have done, all the more show why we all fall short of the glory of God, as seen in Romans 3 chapter 23. So go look at what Jesus has done, not look at what us people have done. Okay? That's about all I have for this video. Ultimately, I think Christians can be politicians. If people decide to vote them in, then sure. If people decide to vote in other people, then sure. It just depends on how the country is being run. I personally, as a Christian, would like for someone with the same beliefs as me to be a politician. Feel free to share your comments below about this really touchy topic, combining religion with politics, two really taboo kind of topics. And hopefully you stay strong to your faith as you are on the go for Jesus.